Oh, hello, and welcome to Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
And I'm Dr. Leviathan.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories, most creepy and most pasta. Tonight we have...
most tooth-filled.
Yeah. Tonight we have The Grinning Man and The Smiling Man. So, for those of you just tuning in, creepypasta are scary internet stories that get copied and pasted across the internet. Go Google it for a proper thing than that, but yeah. And this week we're doing Grinning Man and with a side dish of Smiling Man, because Smiling Man is a lot shorter. So, we'll go right into The Grinning Man.
You mean the Smiling?
Oh, we're doing The Smiling Man?
Smiling Man? Grinning Man? Right, Grinning Man. My bad.
So, The Grinning Man is a story that's being told to us, but we're also warned not to read any further. So it's one of those ones where it's like, I have a story to tell, but you shouldn't read it. No, seriously, stop reading it. So, trying to pull you in that way, using that little device, literary device. And it goes on about how this guy knew he was best buddies with this other guy, Joe. And one night he was going over to his buddy's place to go hang out, get some drinks, and
get that drink on.
Yeah, and arrives at the apartment complex where there is police all about, because there's been like an accident. He figures, and like he sees like a body that's been like taped, like wrapped up, and there's broken glass and a car. And like a dented car, but he figures it's a car accident has happened outside the building. So after some gawking, he walks past all this somehow, and goes into the building and goes up to the floor that his friend is at, and lo and behold, that room is being cordoned off by police because, as he finds out from the cops when he asks them, his friend went nuts, butchered his roommate, and then jumped out of the window. So it wasn't a car accident. Well, I guess it was a car accident, but it was more or less just
a car accident.
Yeah.
It was a death involving a car because someone landed on it from a fucking window. Not a car accident.
Yes.
Jackass.
So yeah, he apparently gives the briefest statement in the history of police procedures. Yeah. And
this is also after he was a ghost.
Well, yeah, no, he was like mortified by it. Like,
no. This is actually pertaining to a point that's going to make itself known as we go on. Pretty sure he meant a ghast, not a ghost.
Okay.
Because he wasn't a ghost. He was a human being.
See, I just assumed that was a description for, like, he was white as a ghost.
Then you say, I was white as a ghost. This is what I'm...
All right.
Trust me, it's going to build to something.
Okay.
I didn't really... I actually did some prep on this, so fuck you. You're not going to ruin it.
All right. Jesus. Yeah, the cops, give, like, a brief statement and then let him go for... That's not how it works, I don't think, but okay.
Well, they're not going to detain him. I mean, it's a pretty open and shut thing.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know, it just seemed weird, like, how quickly things went by.
Well, yeah. In this case, it seems like to me, it's like half ignorance of the process. And let's face it, most people don't go through this. But... and honestly, I hope no one ever does, but that's not going to be the case either. Mm-hmm. So half ignorance and half just getting on with things.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, seriously, him talking to the cops has nothing to do with the whole fucking story.
Fair enough.
So
they could have just skimmed over that.
Exactly. So, yeah, for me, it's... Yeah, he's probably ignorant of it, but it's also unimportant. It's not like... him talking to the cops is fucking integral to the fucking plot.
Yeah, because he then proceeds to go home. His wife tries to comfort him, but he just kind of, tries to, get some space. Because she didn't know him like I do. He would not have done this, blah.
Oh, and I love this, because he's got a wife.
Yeah.
But he goes to his room. To be alone. He doesn't go to the bedroom. Because when you're married, it's not your room; it's the bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
You know, I understand. Like, I could see it. Like, yeah, I could see it that way. I could also see it like maybe like means the den, but he didn't say that.
You say the den.
Yeah, no, exactly. So anyway, so he
Or
goes
like man cave.
Yeah, the man cave. Yeah. So he goes onto the computer, and hell, he knows the passwords of his friend, so he decides to go on his email and logs into his friend's email to check things and make sure that to either like let some people know or to see if there's any kind of evidence to like string like that would have led
Any
to this
clue to this outrageous behavior.
Exactly. And he does find an image, like a spam email, with a picture of a grinning man.
Yeah, he said the title of the story.
And below it is some words that he won't say. He won't.
No, it's one word.
It's one word that he won't speak, and because he's holding off for it till like later in the story or something. I don't know. I don't even think he even actually mentions it. He just gives it a trick.
Spoiler alert.
Oh my
dude.
god.
Anywho.
Yeah. And it doesn't like it freaks him out because it just like the more he looks at it, the more disturbed he gets by it. Eventually, he just turns it off and goes on his merry way. But he does start developing. He can't get it out of his head over the next couple of days, and he starts getting like nightmares of the grinning man, and so it starts just kind of spiraling. Like he can't get much sleep, so he tries taking some sleeping pills. He starts sleepwalking. Like once he wakes up in the bathroom in a fetal position. Next, he's in the kitchen with a knife, and then the next he's standing above his dead dog, his black lab, who's been butchered by the knife he's holding, and so he has to cover that up and like clean it all up and put him in a garbage bag, and then tell his wife that the dog ran off and got lost, and then. So his mental stability is failing with every passing day, and he can't get much sleep, and the dreams become more vivid. They're like the grinning man is making him feel like he's the one killing all these people, like his friends, his family, and all that, trying to make him become the grinning man. So by the end of the story, it's essentially he's writing this all up in an attempt to transfer whatever it is, like the grinning man, to the person who's reading the story, and he's like apologizing. It's like, I'm sorry. It's like this is like I hope you can forgive a man who's making like rash decisions out of desperation. And that's kind of where the story ends. And then we have a picture at the end of the story with the grinning man, which I'm pretty sure is from Disturbed. Like I'm pretty sure that's the guy the grinning face from the band Disturbed, but. So that was the grinning man. It just goes through like a guy essentially being like manipulated by yet another internet photo and text.
Yeah, this story never goes.
It really
good.
Doesn't. Yeah, it really it had some interesting idea because essentially basilisk hacking somebody. Or like just like manipulating like an image or something that we've seen like manipulating somebody. We've seen it done fairly well in some other stories. Like I think Smile.Dog wasn't too bad, and it was the same kind of thing. But yeah, there's a lot of ambiguity and like not good ambiguity. Like he just leaves like details out that might have been necessary. Like maybe we could have like used that trigger word or whatever he mentioned. He does call it a trigger word, so I guess like he doesn't want to say it because it might trigger the next person. Yeah, but like if he's trying to transfer, there's a lot of issues I have with this one from start to finish. Really, like just writing wise, like the inconsistency with like the police. Like I'm pretty sure he wouldn't even be able to get into the apartment.
No,
without
he wouldn't
police.
Have. No.
I'm pretty sure you could tell a car accident from somebody falling onto a top of a car.
There is a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
And I mean, I knew what he was alluding to as soon as he said, like, oh yeah, I assumed it was a car accident. It's like, oh, okay, you assumed. Well, then you just made an ass out of yourself.
Yeah.
Because I have no part in this.
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure the cops would have held him just for being like not an accomplice, but like for saying that he was like going there to see him.
It's an open and shut thing. Like,
okay,
here's your murder victim. Here's your suicide,
victim, and then here's
who's also your murderer.
Yeah.
So, like, honestly, questioning him at all is just an extra paperwork that someone needs to do. It's it just
okay. But I mean, also he definitely would not have gotten wouldn't have gotten to the third floor and it's like, oh god, there's a crime scene here. Like it would have been they would have been cordoned off they would have had somebody at the entrance at the entrance to the building telling people don't go up to the third floor, blah blah, or are you from part of that or something like that. I just seemed like there were some details that were that the guy the writer wasn't aware of, or just was skipping. So
fuck. I can't find all of the examples, but
you had something.
The whole a ghost thing. This guy likes to use common phrases. Well, not necessarily common, but sort of common. I don't know. Regularly used. I was familiar, and I'm pretty sure I caught several times where he was using things like aghast or something just other things. I can't find any of the other examples at the moment.
I remember seeing.
But they're just a little off because he's never used them or he's never heard them properly.
Yeah.
He didn't know aghast was a word, so he typed in a ghost because that's what he thought it was or something. There's a lot of that going on in this.
Yeah. The writing I did notice
and
I picked up on too.
That is just it wasn't a pet peeve or it wasn't annoying really. It was just something that I couldn't not notice because it was every fucking time there was a somewhat less common than every other fucking phrase used. He got it wrong. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that going on, and I couldn't help but fucking notice it. It was just there.
It just annoyed you a little bit?
Yeah, well, it didn't even annoy me. I was I caught the first one, I was like, oh, okay, you fucked it up. And I caught the second one, okay, I see a trend going on here.
And then you just kept seeing it.
And then it's just yep, there it is, right on schedule. You could set your fucking clock by it. Damn it. I wish... Okay, well, I can't find any more. But another really huge hole is the I sleepwalked, killed my dog.
Yeah.
Okay, you are officially a danger to living organisms.
Yeah.
You should probably, do something about that.
Yeah, he's I don't know what else to do, so I'm going to write this and try and transfer it off to somebody. Yeah, sorry, that's another thing. He did do some research, too, and found out some stuff about the Grinning Man through, conspiracy websites.
Yeah.
But, that was, kind of just, yeah. But this, when he mentions, I'm desperate, this is I don't know what else to do, it's go to a facility, go somewhere, go to a mental hospital.
Get your ass committed, yeah.
Yeah. Go to the hospital, get yourself checked in, because you are now a danger to everyone around you.
It's you're so worried about oh, I'm gonna end up murdering my wife, but hold on, you murdered your you are gonna murder your wife. Do something about that. Don't just try and pass it on to someone else, because there is no reason for you to think that that's gonna cure you.
Yeah.
That is the most stupid bullshit I've ever heard. What this seems like at best isn't some sort of, paranormal takeover. It seems like some sort of... It plays off more like a subliminal message.
Yeah, like a basilisk hack, which is that kind of thing where it's an image or something that has a code in it that affects you. When you look at it, it affects your mind. That's what that is. It's a term used in a lot of in horror movies or horror stories in the modern day.
Okay, well that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Whatever.
Not actually, because I've read a lot of these, but yeah, it's... it seems like a fucking, hypnosis or subliminal message of some sort. And passing that along doesn't get it out of your brain.
Yeah, it's just spreading it.
Yeah.
Also, unless the story that you're just writing is supposed to, accompany the image that you're also forwarding, which, I mean, it looks like it does. But, also you need that trigger word, which we don't ever get. So, the whole thing, he's kind of, doing this, sideways. He's trying to get this out of his head, the wrong way. Totally.
Yeah. I mean, he would have more success with a drill.
Yeah. And, maybe this is just because, he's already, too far gone or something like that, and but it's still ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not going to give him this much
credit. I'm not going to give him that credit? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the guy can't use the term aghast or white as a ghost. Whichever one he was fucking going for.
Yeah.
I'm choosing to pick the one that has the most, at least the right number of letters, almost, you know?
Just replace one letter?
Well, and fucking hammer out that space. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. Aghast, a ghost, yeah.
He can't use aghast properly in a sentence because he's not aware it's a word? I don't know. Then, I really don't see him being that subtle.
Yeah.
Or, just kind of oh yeah, I'm already so far gone that, I'm just spreading it. I'm not, I know what I'm doing, but I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, the whole story kind of screams first draft. Or, not edited. Again, somebody didn't look over this again before sent to... there was, obvious... you could have definitely gone in and done a redo, done, a look over of this, and then handed it back to him. It's this is what's wrong. Redo this stuff.
Yeah.
But, and, some of it is fairly obvious, but... it's the nature of the beast that we have to decide to tackle.
That's... and he starts taking sleeping pills.
Yeah.
And, he refuses to tell his wife, and that
right there is just, no.
Yeah. It just, there's so much wrong with this story that just,
I did not, even, as I was reading, I was okay, this isn't very...
And, you're not going to talk about it with your wife, but you're going to lock up all of the knives in the house?
And not tell her why you're locking them all up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really, really messed up.
Yeah. I think you can't... so I wouldn't recommend this one. And I kind of knew that right from the get-go. After finished reading this one, I was oh, this isn't very good at all. We've seen the idea before, so it's nothing special. The concept's interesting, but it's not enough by any means.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even find the concept overly interesting, and this is just a bad example of the concept.
Yeah.
It screams definitely screams novice writer who... Which
probably, I would suspect this person's probably a student or, a novice, just
regardless,
getting started. Yeah.
Regardless of what they're doing, this is a novice thing, a novice attempt, and just no editing. It's he put it through a spell check maybe, and then just hit auto. Maybe that's why Aghast was turned into Ghost.
Yeah.
I'm willing to see that as a possibility, but just so much wrong with it. And I mean, not really plot holes, just things with the plot that are fucking wrong.
Yeah, that are either wrong or just skimmed too early.
I killed my I can't get over this. I killed my dog, but I'm not gonna do anything about it.
Aside from just lock up the knives.
They're
take more pills.
It's one thing to be oh man, I'm afraid these dreams are gonna, I'm afraid, it's gonna lead to me harming my wife in some way. I can see not doing anything about that because you don't really have any empirical evidence that that's actually going to happen. But, you sleep murder a dog.
Yeah.
Okay, next step is your wife.
Yeah. There's
sorry about your luck. Because it doesn't seem like they have kids, so you are officially out of living organisms to kill unless you're going to start strangling houseplants. So maybe, like, if this is your great fear, you should fucking do something about it.
Other than write this and post it online.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, also, like, you considered, like, the paranormal and conspiracy things bullshit, yet you're just kind of diving headlong into the deep end of what this thing is.
You're ignoring
It feels like
everything.
There's no real, like, realistic rationalization of, like, what's going on with this guy. He's just, it's all plot contrivance. It's all, like, it's just going along with, like, what the writer is trying to, like, get across. Like, he's like, he knew that he was going to have this, like, be an end with, like, I'm writing this up so that to spread it, or something, essentially. But I'm just going to write everything in between to get to that point.
Yeah.
And it just kind of go, like, I gave the story a little too much credit by about halfway through, where I was like, all right, so we're gonna, like, finish the story off with him, like, in the asylum or something like that, and writing this down, like, writing this. Yeah, no, that's not what happened at all.
Yeah.
I gave it way too much credit there, but yeah.
That was another thing. This one was fucking just everything about it was predictable.
Yeah.
Just like I knew I was going to see the one thing I didn't predict was the lack of trigger word with accompanying.
Yeah, I was waiting for, like, it's like, so when are you going to?
Yeah, because I thought that he built that up like it was some big deal, but I was like, all right, so.
And then he never mentions it again.
It's
so it's
puppy.
Like, yeah, exactly. Or it's like, yeah, it just.
It was, yeah, like. And you are right, he definitely, like, thinking back, I didn't actually catch this, so kudos to you. It was written with, like, okay, this is the ending I want, so let's just rewind, okay, I'll start here, and we'll get to the ending as quickly as possible, with as much convenience as possible, and that is always the worst way to write a story.
Yeah.
Like, you can have an ending in mind, but if your story takes you to a different place, guess what? That's not the ending you get.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there are writings, well, for a lot of people anyway, and from what I can tell, better writers, it's an organic thing where you can have things in mind, but you might never get to, write it down because the story just takes this fucking left turn that you didn't foresee,
exactly,
and you're just like, well, this is something completely different, but you go with it because...
And you don't try and shoehorn your previous ideas into it. Or like, try and, like, if you want, like, try and find an idea, or find something from that you can incorporate, but don't, like, shoehorn it in, like, I gotta stick it right in this spot here.
Yeah.
Because that's what I had in mind at the beginning.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because, he doesn't really try in any way to find out, like, I mean, seriously, the guy's having nightmares and shit. Oh no, whoopty shit. You're automatically going to just blame an image you saw in an email?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's because you saw a grisly fucking crime scene, even if it was fucking, like, mostly cleaned up. Like,
or just the fact that you were close friends with the victim. Like, you're still you're shocked. Like, you're in trauma or traumatized. Yeah, like, it's just.
Like, there are lots of, like, bam, just without really giving it much thought, there is a real-life explanation for why the fuck you were having these crazy-ass dreams.
Yeah.
But, no, that's never explained. It's not explained. That's never explored. That's the word I was looking for.
Exactly. Yeah, it just comes off as kind of contrived. So,
yeah.
Let's step away from the grinning man, and let's go say hello to the smiling man.
This isn't going to be any happier, though.
I liked this one better than the other one. But then again, I did read the Grinning Man first and then read the Smiling Man. So
when you finished the Smiling Man, you were like, well, fuck me, it's over. Nice.
So the Smiling Man is about this person that lives in a major city, and likes to go night walking. And so they'll just, like, walk around at night and just think to themselves and
see,
shit.
I get this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy
You've done
and
this
me.
before.
I mean, we're not homie material, but we could run into each other on the street.
Yeah. And he's walking just into, like, near an empty a park, where that's is it that it's patrolled regularly or it's not patrolled regularly?
It's a police patrolled park.
Okay. And he's just walking down the street, and he's looking around, and then he notices that there's this guy at the end of the street behind him that's doing the waltz with himself, but he's like, the way he's moving, it almost looks like he's like dance walking toward him.
Well, that is what a waltz would be.
Yeah. So he's just walking up to him, or like just like getting closer. So he figures this guy's just a drunk, because it is like late in the night, so it's probably just the bar's kicked him out or whatever. And so he decides to give him some space by getting closer to the curb. To give him some room to go past. But as he gets closer, he starts picking up some details about him, and like he's got these crazy eyes and like a super wide grin or like smile. He's looking like into the sky the whole time. And so it just kind of creeping him out. So he decides, as this guy gets closer, he just decides to go across the road and walk a ways on the other side of the street, and then turns back around, and the guy is stopped dancing, and he's just like, he's got a foot on the road, like he's getting ready to turn toward the or like go to the other side of the road to follow him. So this guy goes a little bit, or goes down a bit down the street, and turns around again, and he's on that side of the street, on the sidewalk, and his face has never changed. He's always wild-eyed, wide smile, and like staring up into the sky, but he's facing him the whole time. And he then starts like cartoonishly like sneaking up to him, like taking wide sneaking like steps, like tiptoeing, I guess.
Yes, he's pantomiming.
Yeah,
tiptoeing.
Exactly. And he gets within a car's length. Thank you. Yeah, car's length of our writer, and just kind of stands there, and the character is trying just like he doesn't run. He just is stuck there.
He's paralyzed with fear.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm babbling.
I know. It's amusing.
Yeah. And he's fucking.
He
Christ.
goes to say, "What do you want?" But like, you know, all like angry, like, "What do you want?" But what comes out is, "What?"
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I don't know, humans can't smell fear, but I know they can hear it. And this guy can hear my fear.
Yeah, I could have done without that.
Yeah. I was wondering, what the hell is you put... Okay. And so the guy then just turns around and walks back down the street. And he doesn't... he just watches him the whole time. And then the guy at some point, like farther down, like when he's like a silhouette down the way, he just stops. But then he starts growing, and then that's when he realizes that he's coming at him
at a run.
So he decides to start running too, and so they run. He's being chased by this smiling man for a ways until he gets to a better lit and more sparsely occupied like streets, and looks around and can't find the smiling man. He just doesn't exist. He's no longer there, or he stopped chasing him. So he stays in this city for the next 6 months and never goes out on another night walk until he leaves, because he's afraid of the smiling man. Because the way the guy's face was, it wasn't that he was drunk or he was like anything like that. He just screamed of being insane, of like a person that was insane, and it disturbed the writer. And that's how the story ends. So I don't know. I liked this one a lot better than Grinning Man, but more so because it was a quick read, but it wasn't. But there's a lot of interesting description, and it wasn't like too unnecessary description. Like it was trying to build up this creepiness of the smiling man.
Well, you say there wasn't much unnecessary. To me, a lot of it was overly described. It could have done with a skosh less of that.
I disagree. Like,
yeah,
I think the description. Yeah, I think the description was like, there was enough of it. Like, it wasn't too much, but it was like there was enough there that like he was trying to build up this entity, the smiling man.
It's not an entity. It's fucking lunatic. It's just a little too much. There's just a little too much. It's not like, I'm not saying like, God, would you just shut up? It's not like you're fucking J.R. Tolkien, God. You know, but it was like, okay, you can carry on with your I get it, he's fucking creepy, I get it. That's just my opinion, like, scale it back a little bit, because, it's past, okay, that's enough to, and it's like a little bit on its way to, okay, would you just fucking say it? And you want to stay away, as far away from, would you just fucking say it as possible?
Okay.
That's, like, I'm not saying that this is bad because it's got too much description. I'm just saying, you're good. You could learn to tone it down a little bit, especially, future stories. Just fucking dial that shit back a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I also think that the idea of with the Grinning Man from the previous story, like, it was just an image. This one was actually like a psychotic, like a person that this guy was confronting that was smiling creepily. Also, like, like the whole idea of like somebody who's just smiling like ear to ear, wide eyed, and just is also very like a very effective, unnerving, and traditional kind of like horror or creepy iconography or icon. Like, in stories and stuff like that, or even in like movies and stuff like that, when you see that visual like of the killer who's like again smile like ear to ear and wide eyed, like, it's a lot more unnerving than if he's just got like a normal face while he's killing people, because it's like deceptive. So I don't know. I found it a lot creepier because of that, because of like the description of that.
I'm thinking, well, for me, this one, it's not really creepy, but I don't know, it has that unsettling quality because there's nothing happens. Like,
yeah, he doesn't.
That normally would sound like, normally when I say that would be a bad thing,
yeah.
But nothing supernatural, nothing fucking, crazy, super, not real science, nothing overly fucking ridiculous, nothing really dangerous happens. It's really just an encounter with a fucking, nutball.
A psychopath, yeah. Or
and
like,
I mean, like,
deranged person.
I've been walking in, the middle of the night, and I've run into my occasional drunk guy, and you know what? It's not a pleasant thing.
Yeah, no. Even if
so,
it's
then
drunk, dude.
This is like that same thing, but cranked up to way past 11, and that's it's real.
Yeah, like you can relate to it a lot more than most of the stories we do. Like,
well, yeah, because I mean, this is something that can happen to lots of fucking people.
Yeah,
and like maybe not this exact fucking thing, but I'm sure this does happen to people.
Yeah, actually,
this almost seems like it could have been a real life encounter and just tweaked to make the guy even creepier.
Yeah, like actually, like you've had encounters like with drunk people like this. I know me and Captain Solenum have had an encounter actually a couple of years ago with a homeless guy that was like that, where he was just spouting gibberish and like walking weird all the way past us, and like if we hadn't had Rebel, like I was pretty sure that guy was going to jump on us. But yeah, so it's like we've all had those kind of like encounters, or at least the group that we have on the show. I mean, stuff, so.
It's just
and I'm sure it's a common thing, like when you're taking walks at night, like it's also a fear actually for walking at night. Like it may not be like prevalent, but it's always in the kind of at the back of your mind.
Yeah, if you live in a bigger city, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, fuck, we live in a tiny little fucking city, so
yeah, it's true.
I don't really get concernicus, but I can. Yeah, if I lived in a bigger city than what I do, then yeah, I would. When I went out for a fucking midnight stroll, yeah, I would be a little fucking, or, 2 a.m., whatever it is.
Yeah. You're always on your guard when you see a figure walking down the street along with you.
I'm always like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a host of other problems. But yeah, so I think, for me, that's why this one worked. It has nothing to do with the amount of, with all of the detail. It's just the fact that this is a real thing. It's
a very relatable, grounded scenario.
Well, yeah, and I mean, this guy's creepy as fuck, and yeah, nothing happens to our author, but who's to say that same, fucking lunatic that he ran into didn't run into someone else later, and this time, fucking, ate their face.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Or, even better, like, not even later that night, but this guy he's out there for fucking, months,
and
years,
just doing this kind of thing.
And just doing this kind of thing, and eventually, yeah, you know what, he fucking, rips a throat out with his teeth. Why? Because, fuck. Yeah. Eventually, you just get tired of waltzing with yourself.
Yeah. That's really what he is. He just wants somebody to dance with.
I don't know. Based on the description of his fucking smile, he's happy enough to dance by himself.
Fair enough. But that's the other thing about, again, it's why like somebody who's perpetually smiling can be just as creepy as any like other kind of thing, is because there's a deceit behind it. So, I don't know. I just like that's.
You say that, but to me, this story would have worked if that face had have been shrouded in a hood or, just overly pale. Like, it didn't have to be smiling. It's just the fact that he is. Like, the fact that he's smiling doesn't make him creepier. It's just, he is smiling. And that's okay. Like, that's not a problem. Okay, I misspoke there. I shouldn't say it doesn't, make him more frightening, but, because it does, just not much.
Yeah.
It's mostly his actions.
Yeah, like, again, doing a waltz, like, down the street, following this
really, the smile, like, the big old fucking smile on his face really just...
hammers in.
It's just another indicator. This guy's fucking nutter butters.
Yeah, and again, like, actively following this individual even after they've turned off, gone to the other side of the road.
The smile doesn't.
No, I mean his like actions and stuff.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
but he could have been wearing a hoodie with shadows obscuring his face. He could have been fucking painted up like a clown.
Yeah,
he could have
any number of things.
Yeah, he could have had like horrible burns.
Yeah, just anything to disfigure or hide a normal face.
Yeah, or he could have just been a fucking normal dude.
Yeah,
I'm
not discrediting that. I'm just saying that's. I don't know. It's why it kind of creeps me out because visually, mentally, I'm reading it and I'm just getting this really creepy smiling face.
I just feel like you were giving the smile too much credit.
Fair enough.
Where
I may have been.
Okay, so and the title of this story kind of makes you want to do that, but like I said, he didn't have to be smiling at all. He could have been completely stoic the whole time.
Yeah,
and
it would have been just as effective again because his actions were speaking louder than his face.
Exactly. No, I do. The guy was a fucking pantomime of creepy.
Yeah.
Right down to the comedic fucking exaggerated, super fast tiptoes.
And then just rushing him at going all the way down the street, the block, and then just running back. Yeah. That's just never fucking comforting. It's a very proper reaction to run away from that.
Yeah.
Because exactly. So I feel like this one is definitely worth a read. It is a shorter one, but it's I don't know, it's not.
It's shorter, but I'm not going to recommend it because it's brief.
Okay, that's not what I mean.
No. What I mean is this one doesn't barely make a recommendation because hey, at least it's not a big waste of time. It's a recommendation because it's competently done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little too descriptive, but not to the point where you're fuck off!
Exactly, yeah.
It's to the point where okay, you could get to, there's your point, okay.
Cool. Yeah, were you just about to go okay, there you go. Yeah, and it is, again, it's relatable, especially if you go out on night walks, but you can relate to it because nothing supernatural and nothing extraordinary really happens in the story. So it's something that you can easily visualize.
Like I said, this is a thing that probably happens a lot. Not a lot.
It probably happens a fair amount.
I'm sure it happens to many people in every large metropolitan city.
Yeah. And that's actually one of the things, at first I was kind of annoyed that we don't get a name for the city or anything like that. But think on it afterwards, no, actually it's good that you leave out just your major major city, because that could be any city. That could be your city. It's a cool little, it's a nice little technique.
It couldn't be our city, but
God no.
It could be Toronto.
Exactly.
So
yeah, it's like that. Like, I appreciate it for that now. Like, after reading it and then like thinking on it. So this one actually helped. Like, this one actually works.
I actually caught that one right away. I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, you're
being ambiguous to allow me to imprint upon you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, I definitely recommend The Smiling Man.
Yeah, it was good. And I don't know, it didn't creep me out, but it kind of unnerved me because I actually put myself in
the shoes of the...
Well, in the shoes of not necessarily of this guy, coming face to face with this, like with the with the Smiling Man.
Yeah.
I put myself in the shoes of anyone face to face with batshit crazy with no fence or, divider between us.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah.
That's not something I want to do. Exactly.
All right. Yeah, so you can check both The Smiling Man and The Grinning Man on creepypasta.wiki. The YouTube channel, That Creepy Reading, does a reading of The Smiling Man. That's pretty good. CreepsMcPasta does one of The Grinning Man, which is also very well done. The Smiling Man is accredited to blue_title, and The Grinning Man doesn't have the credit. So
and it's not title, it's title?
Yeah, as in Tidal Wave.
Case.
Yeah, as in Tidal Wave, yes. So, good work, man.
Yeah.
Or gal.
Yeah, that's a pretty ambiguous tag.
Yeah. So that is our show for tonight. If you have a comment or something you want to talk to us about, you can leave it in the comment section below wherever this gets posted, whether it be on Tumblr, Kiwi6, Facebook, YouTube. We're also on iTunes, so leave us a review because any feedback helps. You can also contact us on Twitter at Dr. Leviathan or at Review Cultist. And you can also leave us an email at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com, where you can also leave us suggestions for other creepypastas you'd like us to discuss on the show. Also, if you'd like to support us, you can donate at crazonstudios.tumblr.com. That's our main site for the title cards for each episode. And every little bit helps. So, until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
And I'm Dr. Leviathan still.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.